Hello, believers, non-believers, and everyone in between. You're listening to Stories with Sapphire. I am Sapphire Sandalo. Now get cozy and open your mind because it's story time.
Hello, happy Wednesday. Welcome to Stories with Sapphire Live. I am Sapphire. This is the live stream I do every Wednesday at 5:30 Pacific Standard, where I read your emails and stories that may not make it into the podcast or channel otherwise. And it's a little bit more casual, a little more loosey-goosey, so sorry if I mispronounce things or get tripped up on reading. And then at the end of the stream, I pull a collective card from one of my decks. Today will be the Animal Spirit one because I love this one. Let's see. So while people are trickling in, let's see. Is there any cool news we can talk about? Last weekend was Midsummer Scream. That was really awesome. I was part of a panel called BIPOC Horror Creators, and it was me and a lot of really cool people. The Girl That's Scary podcast, Matthew, that Storytime guy, filmmaker Matthew Robinson, and Puma Does Cosplay. And it was moderated by Iva Trees Littles of Horror Movies and Beyond. And it was really cool. We packed to the room. A lot of really positive feedback after. It was really nice. It was really cool. And I'm glad that the creator of Midsummer Scream was there to see how packed it was so that he knows next year, bigger room. What else? Is anybody following the Ariana Grande drama? I am so obsessed. I usually don't really care about celebrity gossip, but the whole Ariana Grande drama is like the funniest thing to me. It's so freaking funny. I love it. I love that everyone is just like, this guy? And he left his wife and newborn baby. It's like, you have to be so dumb. But also, they were high school, like, sweethearts. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I know that there's plenty of people who have successful marriages because they, like, met their, like, one in high school. But, like, sorry. Like, no. Like, you met them in high school and then that's it? Like, no one is the same person they were in high school that they are as an adult. I've so many thoughts, and I know it sounds like I'm hating, but I'm just always so weirded out by high school. But that's coming from, like, my personal experience, because I'm like, ew, if I married, like, my high school boyfriend, blah, gross. Anyways, that's enough of that. I'm just waiting for y'all to trickle in. Are you ready for your first story? What a weird way to start this stream. For those of you who have never come, it's usually this chaotic. Usually varying degrees of chaos. I think the most chaotic was when I discovered that my lights could blink as I talked. Oh, hey, the fact they both left their husband/wife. I know. And oh my God. And what makes it even funnier is that, like, maybe like a day or two ago, like, there was an announcement that, like, Ariana Grande is giving Ethan Slater some space while he, like, works things out with his wife. And it's like, oh my God, Ariana, you're so messy. Now it's like, oh, okay, just kidding. Let's all go back to the way things were. Like, so dumb. Anyways. All right. First story. is called What Could This Be? Dear Ought to Sapphire, first and foremost, hi! I've been listening to your stories ever since the Something Scary days. Aw. I've always been interested in the strange and unusual. I find comfort and beauty within it, to be honest. Although now I am a little weary about it. Uh-oh. Disclaimer, these occurrences haven't happened back to back with each other, but at random times. I felt the need to share this after listening to your podcast episode, Within These Walls. Recently, I've experienced unknown presences where when I was sick, lying on my couch, I felt something or someone boop my nose with what I felt like a palm of a hand. I've also had moments where I would hear whistling behind me or something growl and snarl right beside me, which just happened twice. The first time in a dark room I passed by, and the second right by my ear, in which each happened when I was by myself. Now, these moments were not the first ones I've experienced. When I was little, I've seen a floating head of an old man in my bedroom window. One night, that happened when we lived by a cemetery. I've seen a red apparition walk into the old library at my church, and my family and I have seen stuff fall off shelves that landed a few feet away. I've wondered about the possibility that I'm sensitive, but the devil's advocate trait of mine always seems to chalk it up between that and it just being my imagination. Even despite how even a few relatives on my mom's side have experienced similar things. One of my youngest cousins saw a late principal of his school, and my uncle smelled the death of a lady that soon passed the next day after crossing by her on a walk. Also, ever since I've started having more health complications, that's when they started feeling more personal and close. The recent events I've mentioned. Maybe there's something there. In all honesty, I still can't decide whether it's actually happening or it's not. All I know is that when they do happen, I feel anxious and drained. What are your thoughts? Sincerely, Kaylin. Kaylin! Well, thank you for sharing this with me and everyone on the stream. Let's see. So, you're hearing growls, you're feeling touches. So here's the thing. There are certain things that have been debunked that can be attributed to things like carbon monoxide poisoning, plumbing, infrasound, and those types of things are like if you are seeing shaky shadows, shadow figures in the corners of your eye, or if you're like hallucinating things. What else? It's like it's very specific things though. Like carbon monoxide poisoning can't make you hear growls, I don't think. I don't think it can make you see a man outside a window. So that's what I would do. Oh, that was the other thing. Toxic mold is another thing that a lot of typical haunting things can be attributed to. So what I would do, so my advice for and this goes to anyone in the chat and Kaylin, if you suspect that there's a haunting, first rule out all of that stuff. Rule out mold, carbon monoxide poisoning, infrasound. I don't know how you would rule that out. And if it's none of those things, then be like, okay, there's something going on here. But then you figure out what. I don't know. I think there is a lot of truth in the more attention you give something, the more power it gets. So if this is something that is truly disturbing you, try to ignore it first. And if it feels like it keeps coming, then there should be something, or there. If you have any spiritual authorities that you subscribe to, then maybe seek that out. So a priest or a shaman or an albalario, curandero, anything like that. And if not, I don't know. Try those things first. Yeah, that's my advice. I hope that's something. All right, this one just says story submission from Lexi. Hello, I think I lived in one of the most haunted houses in East Los Angeles. My name is Lexi. I'm 16, and me and my family went through some crazy things in this house. It's a long story, so bear with me, and you probably won't be able to put all of this in your podcast. So I guess it all started with the doorknobs rattling. Most of this is coming from my mom, since we'd been living in that house since I was born. My mom, uncle, and grandma would hear rattling of the doorknobs, and not just a slight rattle, like a constant rattling, very aggressive, like too loud, banging on the walls. My mom thought it was someone pranking her till it would happen when no one would know. Next was shadow people, seeing silhouettes of people not in the corner of your eye, but directly in front of you. These were mostly seen by my uncle. He would also hear running on our stairs in the backyard. We lived on a hill, and we had a porch and long stairs to the bottom yard, always at night. Or seeing things behind curtains. My mom's personality completely changed in that house, almost as if she was possessed, and my dad had extreme night terrors only in that house. And I would always see a man, and so did my siblings. At the age of 3 is when he would present himself to us. I'd also seen a shadow go across my grandma's room. It wasn't really out of the ordinary, but was weird since my windows were boarded up. So what was causing this big shadow? I don't know. I was never the same since my instincts totally took over. I mean, it would be hard to get into specifics, but please ask questions because there's so much to talk about. After they were renovating, after we moved out, there were pentacles painted on the walls. Now, I don't think witchcraft is bad, but I don't think it's a stretch to say someone may have been using black magic, which is totally against the Wiccan oath, but whatever, people do it anyways. There's everything in that house. Nightmares, an entity that multiple people have seen, shadow people, possession, and moving of objects like doorknobs. I mean, my family really have experienced everything in a normal haunted house story. I hope this all makes sense because I was just writing my thoughts as if I was talking to someone. Lexi. Okay. So I have a lot of thoughts on this. Oh my gosh. Sorry, I'm like so gassy. I'm going to be hiccuping and burping this whole stream. So let's see. Doorknobs. Oh, we got shadow people. Okay. So if the shadow people are not just felt and in the corner of your eye, like you're seeing it, then that's not carbon monoxide poisoning or toxic mold. So there probably is something going on. I don't like it. I don't know, like, what the history of this house is. Oh, the other thing I wanted to say. Black magic is a term that, like, occultists and magicians are trying to, like, stay away from now because there are roots. The term itself, like, has roots in racism. Because why do we equate harmful magic with the word black? And why do we equate good magic with the word white? So instead, you can say baneful magic. Baneful just means harmful. Yeah, so that's just a little thing for all of you to hopefully start using. And yeah, like, pentacles don't necessarily mean bad stuff going on. But I'm wondering, like, maybe there were some types of rituals, and so all of that, like, energy that was created there is still there in that house. I don't know, like, maybe people were doing stuff, conjuring some type of stuff. I don't know if it's harmful though. Okay. Well, thank you, Lexi. All right, we've got time for one more. Oh my gosh. Ooh. There it is, burp. Okay, this one's interesting. Okay. What's up, Sapphire? My name is Emma. I live in Las Vegas. I just started listening to your podcast and felt very inspired. I'm a believer in the supernatural, thanks to the old house my boyfriend and I used to live in Portland, Oregon. I lived there for 5 years, and he had lived there for 7 years before I moved in. The house was built before the 1920s. Off and on, over the years, my boyfriend had seen some creepy things before I moved in. He says the TV had turned itself off as soon as his mom woke up from a nap. Also, when his girlfriend at the time was staying the night, she had told my boyfriend that she woke up to see a shadow person standing in his bedroom doorway, and she had assumed that it was his roommate Ashley. But he said to her while almost half asleep that Ashley was at work, and the shadow just stood there, not moving. The next morning, his girlfriend left, and they never dated again. And also, I myself can attest to this odd part. In the top right-hand corner of the stairs on the second floor of the house, you could feel a strong sense of darkness and sort of sadness or coldness. Not to mention, the house was always pretty cold, but Oregon is usually cold year-round. And so when I moved in 2015, I started seeing some things myself. The first thing I saw was this. I was standing at my boyfriend's cocktail bar, and behind the bar was a shelf with an antique metal ice bucket. This bucket was awkward to open, so as you'd have to lift it upright by its long handle and then push the lid back to open it. And right before my eyes, the bucket very abruptly started to vigorously open and shut itself, probably 5 or 6 times. And it was so loud and sudden that I jumped and stood back in amazement. This was my first true otherworldly encounter. Ay, ay, ay. That's creepy. Well, thank you, Emma, for sharing that. I can't really envision what that bucket looks like, but yeah, that's pretty creepy. Oh, the popping noise stopped. You can hit ghosts by having holy water on your fists. It works. I think some guy tried it and it worked. What? Okay. Liking the background you've got going on there with the bonfire embers. Yay, I'm glad you like it. All right, cool. Well, thank you to everybody who submitted a story. I don't know why I said it like that. Oh. That reminds me. A new episode of the podcast went up. I posted the video on YouTube, and then also you can listen to it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you listen to podcasts. If you've seen the movie on Shudder called Host, I interview the writer, Jed Shepard, and one of the actresses, Emma Webb. They had some weird stuff going on behind the scenes of the movie, and so they talk about that a little bit, and it's really cool. And we talk about manifesting entities into reality, so it's pretty spooky, but also really cool. Okay, so let's knock. Put my feet down here. Let's see. Okay. What message do we have for the chat today? I usually like to wait till one pops out, but 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Black egg. I don't think I've ever pulled this one before, so I'm not sure what it means. What is the black egg? There's a gold to it. Black egg. The black egg contains one of life's essential treasures, the truth. Inside of it resides no confusion, excuses, small talk, noise, or lies, not even white ones. This living and breathing vessel harbors only that which rings true. When this essence is in balance, we speak slowly and clearly. We are drawn to activities like writing, reading, teaching, singing, or perhaps public speaking. Sounds draw us in, books draw us in, the concept of truth itself draws us in. We start asking questions like, what do I know to be true about myself? And what is true about the world? When the energy of the black egg is not yet accessed, we speak from an unsure place. We say things others want to hear, gossip, or repeat stories to justify our subpar behavior. We might even try to convince ourselves that we have no inner truth at all. The energy of the black egg hovers and waits for us to reconnect. It is available at every moment, in every situation. It's the it's the epicenter of truth, the birthplace of our voice. So it correlates with the 5th chakra. Interesting. Okay. So, yeah, I guess my interpretation of that is if you feel like your throat chakra is blocked, you're like having trouble communicating, there's some truths that you feel like need to be said, this is your reminder to speak those truths so that you can unblock that chakra, baby. So I hope that resonates with all of you. Ooh, my tummy hurts. Okay, yeah, it's time to put some food in my tum-tum. Guys, can you hear my Norman? Can you hear my doggy? He is right outside my door. He's very upset that I'm not paying attention to him. So I'm going to go pay attention to him and eat my food. All right, thanks for joining me today. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next week. Don't forget to listen to the podcast.